Hello everybody and welcome to Sin City Living. This is Louie.
Hey.
I'm Jason, and we're coming at you with today's episode of Crossfire. As always, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and we want to do our usual shout out to our patrons. We appreciate all tips and support. It's only going to go towards making the channel better. If you guys have any strategies for any of the games, feel free to email us at sincityliving@gmail.com. Be happy to do a video on you.
Oh yeah.
So for today, we want to talk about something that just amuses us. Common myths and superstitions.
Yeah.
So I'll bring up the first one of my favorites. It's for craps. When the dice go off the table, a large percentage of players, or not a large, but a noticeable percentage of players, will immediately turn all their bets off, take all their bets down, so on and so forth, because they believe that every time the dice go off the table, a 7 comes next.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about that. First, I'm curious at exactly what universe law of science causes that to happen. Like, how would what is it scientifically, mathematically that would cause that to happen? And two, I keep track of that kind of stuff just because it amuses me, and you'll never guess. It's about 1 in 6 times. It's a 7. It's amazing. 1 in 6 times a 7 comes, but even some of the dealers will go, man, it always seems to be a 7, because when the dice go off the table and then a 6 rolls, nobody remembers it. It just doesn't stick out in your head.
Right.
But that 1 in 6 times when a 7 rolls, it sticks out in your head. So that's why people have that particular superstition.
I want to butt in real quick I don't mean to cut you off, but it's funny how that works, right? It's 1 in every 6. There's something, I'm noticing a trend. Can you tell me how many combinations there are to roll a 7?
6.
Huh.
Yeah, out of 36.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy. And before I turn over to Louie for the next superstition, I might as well tack one onto this because it's pretty much the same thing. Every time the dice hit a chip, a 7 comes. Again, exactly how does the chip know what the other die has rolled and therefore affect this die to make it land on the 1 in 6 numbers that would cause it to be a 7 in conjunction with the other die that did not hit chip? I'm just curious exactly how that would happen. What law of science caused that right there?
It's just science.
Unless possibly, you never know, but possibly the chips are Jedi Knights.
They got the Force, man.
And they are doing the old roll the dice with Watu. For the pod race, but
Watto and Qui-Gon, the old.
So maybe the chips are Jedi Knights and being able to pull that one off. I don't know. Louie, do you know of any card superstitions?
Yeah. Blackjack players especially, are very superstitious in terms of taking a dealer's bust card. They're very superstitious of that. So a lot of players will work in conjunction together. They'll work together. So if the dealer has a hand that looks, quite possible of busting, right? And everybody's working together. Oh, don't take the dealer's hit card. Don't take the dealer's bust card. Don't take the dealer's bust card. So you'll see everybody. No. They'll stand. Except for that one person who's not a regular, and they want to take the card, and him or her ends up getting a decent hand. Meanwhile, they all have crappy hands, and the dealer gets a decent hand. And they all blame it on that one person at the end. You took the dealer's bust card. Because you get a 10 or something like that. You took the dealer's bust card. Now we all lose. And it doesn't make any sense. It's nonsense. It's the same thing. It all comes down to
just to the math.
To the math of it.
And it absolutely makes no sense. There was a study done by there was a TV show a while back that they used to do mathematical and scientific studies on gambling. And they actually did a study on that with the as far as taking the dealer's bust card when the dealer's showing a 5 or 6 or something like that. And you'll never guess what they found out. It is just as likely to take the dealer's winning card as it is to take their bust card, and in fact, a player hitting has players playing against what's considered conventional odds does absolutely no effect to any other player's odds of winning or losing. It's just it flat out wouldn't be possible. One that I heard about with cards, this is not a superstition, this is a myth, is there are players that are firmly convinced that the auto shuffler shuffles it in such a way to favor the house. Like, even though the dealer shuffles the cards once before they put it in the auto shuffler, these players are firmly convinced that this auto shuffler is able to somehow know how many players there are and how many cards they're going to hit or not hit on their individual hands, or whether or not they're going to split. It somehow knows how they're going to play every single hand and exactly how many people are going to be in this hand or in every single hand for the entire shoe in order to then therefore arrange the cards in a way that favors the house. It's magical. Apparently in these players' minds, this dumb machine is somehow able to predict the future in ways that nothing else on this planet can. It's truly magic. Truly amazing. It might be magic.
It's magic, you know. It's the gambling gods, the Vegas gods that you know, they just don't want the players to win. Another one is when I dealt the UTH. A lot of the players who were poker players would come play Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and they would like look at their cards like if it was a real game. Look at their cards, you know. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody's there playing. They're looking at the other players, like if they're playing. It's everyone versus the dealer. Like it doesn't really matter if you want to, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Just you're there to have fun. You're not competing against anybody really.
You're not playing the other players.
Yeah.
Some of the players will definitely act that way for sure.
How about and then they always they'll sit there and start like messing with checks like this and all kinds of stuff. The big one though is when I used to deal Baccarat, where you would hand off the cards. Right now, Baccarat I'm dealing, we don't hand off the cards, but when I did, when you would hand off the cards, they'd roll them up, twist them, rip the cards, throw them, all kinds of stuff. They want to see one card at a time. Show me one card. They roll. Oh my goodness, I never understood what the deal was with rolling up the cards and ripping them up, and it never I don't know, it stuck out to me as being odd. Why would you rip up a good card? I mean, it's going to be thrown away anyways, but still, I don't understand it.
On that, Bach, another one that really amuses me, but this one is so big that every casino will actually have the supplies for them to do this. Plus the machine that will do this. The players that will sit there and they will track wins, banker, player, and the casinos will supply them with cards. Plus and pens. Plus there's a machine right behind that will show all of that will show the last X number of hands and player, banker, player, banker, player, banker. And these players I've seen players that will sit there, track this, and sit out certain hands, sit out 2-3 hands, and play another couple of hands, sit out 2, but they're tracking everything, and it's absolutely insane. What it is it's the common gambler's fallacy of this is hit X number of times, there's no way it's going to hit again.
Right.
Just like a roulette player that says, red has come up 4 times. What are the odds it comes up a 5th time? I can tell you the odds is just under 50% because the odds do not change. It's the common gambler's fallacy that this has happened X number of times. There's no way it happens again. That's what gets martingale players. That's why the martingale systems are allowed by casinos, because over time they always lose. Because of the gambler's fallacy.
Well, superstitions don't really help. They really don't help anyways. In craps, we have the randomizer, the alligator skin. You hit that back wall, it randomizes it. In roulette, what's the randomizer? How fast or how slow you spin the ball, how fast or how slow the wheel goes. Where you choose to spin the ball. And if you have a good dealer, they'll mix it up every time. This time the wheel will go slow, the ball will go fast. they'll start from over here. Maybe the next spin, they'll spin the ball from here, and then they'll speed up the wheel a little bit and slow down the ball a little bit. You know, they'll change it up every time.
Plus, it's people aren't robots.
Right.
So it's just flat not possible to exactly do that. You read these,
right.
you hear these apocryphal stories about these fantastic dealers
right.
that called the number they were going to hit and then and spun the ball and landed on that number, and then they did it 2 or 3 times to prove. And these are stories, these are myths, these are urban legends.
Right.
It's just it doesn't happen.
Nobody's that perfect.
It just does not happen. A machine could not do that.
No.
So it just does not happen.
Right.
So the gambler's fallacy is a very, very common one. Just like the players that seem to think that the dealer is controlling the cards on blackjack.
Oh yeah.
And making them lose, making the players lose, is as if, you know, the shuffle they did, and then the shuffle machine, that the dealer is, I guess,
right.
telepathically connected with that machine,
right.
and is once again able to predict the future in such a way as to know what every single player is going to do, how many players are going to be, and what every single player is going to do. It's amazing. These dealers are just apparently psychics.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know, this is a secret that's supposed to stay in the dealing community. Okay, this is exclusive news I'm sharing with you guys. Anytime somebody gets hired as a dealer, you go through, you go through the school, you do everything, you learn the tricks of the trade. But when you get hired, one thing they don't tell you is you get chipped.
They implant a computer into our brain.
They put a little computer in here, and then
we're all cyborgs.
That's what it is.
There's a little screen up in front of us that's showing every camera angle,
yeah.
and it's predicting. The computer's predicting what every player's going to do.
Right.
Yeah. That must be it.
We're connected to everything. We'll adjust something slightly, so then the ball just happens to bounce right out of your number into the one right next to it, or we'll magically flip the dice right as it's spinning. Nope. It's a 7.
Let's go on to something.
Yeah.
Let's go on to a different number. That one's just not going to work.
It's not working. Yeah. We'll mix the cards and telepathically in the shuffler. Okay, he's going to get a 17. He's going to get a 13, and I'm going to get a 5-card 21. No, it doesn't work that way. Come on, guys.
Before we end this one, and this video, by the way, there's going to be 2, possibly 3 parts to this video, because
maybe
we've got quite a few. But before we end this one, I want to go with a myth that is on the dealer side, dealers and floors, and I'm going to go with dice. Although it also applies within the card side as well. The idea of a dealer that's a cooler. It's a hot table, so bring on blackjack, so tap them out with another dealer.
Yeah.
Or on dice, whoever's on stick. Some people on stick just naturally, we call it singing, and call lots of winners and call long
right.
hands and stuff like that. Because once again, these dealers have magical powers. We don't even touch the dice. We slide them over with a stick.
Yeah.
The player throws them, and then we call it. From when it's in the player's hand until we call what number, when we have to call the top,
right.
there is no effect, no possible way we could affect it, unless, again, we're Jedi Knights or we have some form of superpower or magical power.
I'm a cyborg.
But even a cyborg wouldn't be able to do it. Got to have some sort of magical power,
yeah.
or use the Force. I mean, or have a superpower,
yeah.
telekinetic. There's absolutely no way. But some people are firmly convinced that some dealers are coolers. Bring them in on the hot blackjack table, and they'll start clearing everybody out. Bring them in on the hot roulette table, and they'll start calling losers.
Right.
It's an absolute riot how that works. So we will definitely have another video. We're going to actually shoot it right after this one.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe buttons, and we will catch you next time.
Peace.